out here by Brent Steps, and bam, right there on the chin, and he is out.
My name's Adam Atiyeh. I fight at 185 and 205.
He's got a dirty boxing style. Hails from area unknown.
We're starting at the bottom where the escalade begins, and one day we're going to be at the top where they end.
This is the Archangel, Adam Atiyeh.
It started for me since the beginning, since I was a kid. But just like everyone else in life, we're all fighters in one way or another, whether you're fighting for life because you got cancer, or whether you're a mother fighting for your kids, or whether you're a father that's trying to raise money to protect his family. We're all fighters in one way or another. So, for me, fighting started, right at the beginning. I always was a guy that was in the streets, and I always was an adrenaline junkie. So just like Mike Tyson, when he was a kid, fighting his way up, that's how it was for me. The Foster kids lived down the block. And I always liked getting into them. I always liked to say I was going to be the heavyweight champ of the world when I was a kid. And it just followed me up through. I come from a history of great athletes. My uncle started off for me, my Uncle Joe being the first man to win a silver medal Olympics for Syria. Uncle George was a two-time state champ, played football at LSU and with the Philadelphia Eagles. Dad was a state champ, Uncle Abe runner-up. My Uncle Sonny was a pimp drug dealer, but was the toughest out of them all, just couldn't keep his life together. And on my mom's side as well, I had great athletes, my Uncle Tim and Uncle Mike. So, I've definitely been blessed in that aspect.
Leopard trunks, Adam Atiyeh. What a right hand by Adam Atiyeh.
I believe everything's about becoming a better man. Everything in life's about, becoming the person that you're meant to becoming. And I say, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing this for me, because it's not a matter of me satisfying your needs, it's a matter of me satisfying myself, because I live underneath my skin at the end of the day, and that's what life's about. I got to face myself in the mirror, and that's why I do it, because it helps me become a better man. Every time I step in that cage, I got to fight my own insecurities, and I do that each and every time, and I'm enjoying it, because I see myself growing as a man, and I can't thank God enough for that.
And the strength, the sheer physical power of Adam Atiyeh is certainly taking into play right now.
I said I wanted to be a gangster, because those were the people I liked, because I saw it, just like Scarface said, money, power, and then you get the girls, and then, all these things. That's how I looked at life. I struggled a whole lot, man. I started off dealing, I did a lot of cocaine in my time, done a lot of cocaine too. It was my girlfriend, my best friend. It was my everything, man. If my girl was naked in the room next to me, I'd be one more wine, one more minute, I'd be over there, never going to see her. So drugs became all that I knew and my best friend. And if there was a successful way of doing it, I would still be using drugs. Because I wanted to live in Fantasy Island world. Almost like in The Wizard of Oz, how Dorothy goes off into, fantasy world and finds all the people and everything else. It's more colorful, but then when you come back to reality, it's black and white. I didn't know how to live life on life's terms, so I always wanted an escape, and that's how I found that escape, was doing that. And MMA kind of changed the card for me, but most importantly, was going to prison and the people that came in my life, that gave me the source of another way of using my emotions,
Atiyeh is a guy where, he's going to keep coming at you nonstop.
After I went through that part of my life, everything else kind of just fell into place. The main guys that have been in my corner is Will Miranda, a great guy, professional boxer, and Dave Hamilton, who I met out of some of the prison programs, who sparred with Bernard Hopkins and has been a great friend in my life. I believe training, you got to keep it like a relationship. You can't let it get stale. You got to keep it green. So I constantly believe in doing new things. I keep the repetition going and consistency doing it, so you build those neural pathways in your brain. But I switch it up. One day I'm doing the hammers, the next day I'm running, boxing, jitsu, you switch it up. my goal in my career, of course, is to be the champ, you know, to make it to UFC. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. You know, I don't believe in half measures. I don't believe in just going into anything half-heartedly because it gets you nowhere. Either you go all in or all out. That's how life is, you know. And that's how I see myself. I see myself being there, just like Weidman put it. You know, for him, I put a picture of Jesus on my wall. I put a picture of the people I look up to, and I picture myself being there one day. And I see that in a great way, but like I said before, I see myself becoming a great person, you know, and that's what MMA's, you know, doing for me. It's like this story a guy told me that was in penitentiary, you know, up and down all over the East Coast. You know, I didn't want to talk to the guy. We had nothing in common. I was like, I don't want to live like you, man. You've been all over, shot in gangs, this and that. You know, get away from me. The guy kept on bothering me, kept coming up to me. He's like, you know, young buck, I got a story for you. And I finally gave in to listen to him. He says, you know, once there was a man, once there was a boy. The man gave the boy a giant puzzle, and on one side of the puzzle was a picture of God, on the other side of the puzzle was a picture of the world. The man gave it to the boy expecting to take him months and months, even years to finish, because no one before him had ever finished in any less time than that. But somehow the boy came back in a few days. You know, he finished it. And the man said, what's your secret? You know, how'd you finish this? I never saw anyone doing any less time than you. And the boy said, listen, sir, there's no secret. After I put the picture of God in the place, the rest of the world fell into place. And that's how I just can speak about my life, and that's how it came together with MMA too. You know, and the rest of my life's coming together. Regardless if I win or lose in that cage, if I gave it all I got, I can live. Like I said, it's the man in the mirror. I'm the one that sleeps underneath my skin at night. And it's a matter of giving it all you got. I promise you, if I get on that treadmill, I'm gonna either go until I die or I'm falling off. That's how it's gonna be. And that's how I'm living my life, like I said, all in or all out. And that's what this gives me the outlet to do. You know, because I was the same way with drugs. I was never afraid to die, but I was afraid to live. And now, you know, I like to live. I don't want to die yet. You know, I'm available in any way. I want to get into acting one day, motivational speaking. I'd like to get into pro wrestling as well. Of course, the fighting, one day be a preacher. You know, whatever happens, you know, I just keep giving all I got. But, you know, I like to keep it open-minded and just keep living a life of love, you know.
Please welcome Adam Archangel Atiyeh.
I want to thank you, Mike, you know, for giving me the opportunity to do this. You've been a blessing in my life. You know, I want to thank Dave Hamilton, Will Miranda, everyone that's been by my side, my sponsors, of course, my mom for having me, and most importantly, God. You know, we'll do another sponsor video sometime because I don't want to mention not everybody at once and have someone left out. You know, but I gotta thank my family, my friends, and everyone that keeps sticking by me through the ups and downs, because that's how life is, and that's another reason why I like MMA, because you just never know how it's gonna be, ups and downs.